Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our Tuesday night series. And tonight, we have kind of a special little project. It's special to my heart. We're going to be using the Signs of Santa stamp set. I just got this the day before yesterday, and it is adorable. So cute. And we're also going to incorporate some of this beautiful glimmer paper. This is the what's it called? Joyous Noel glimmer paper. And it comes in Copper, Tranquil Tide, and Merry Merlot. And I think those colors are just gorgeous to use for a Christmas theme. So we'll use just a few bits and pieces of the Merry Merlot to go on our project tonight. And what is our project, you ask? Well, we are going to make a gift card holder. Now, you saw me make a gift card holder when I got back from the crafting retreat about a month ago, and that used the envelope punch board. But not everybody has an envelope punch board. So I came up with a way you can make gift card holders using the Whisper White narrow note cards and envelopes. Turns out they're just perfect for that. You can get a whole pack for $8 and then just go to town decorating them. And that's a heck of a lot cheaper than paying an extra $2.50 just to get a pretty holder to put your gift cards in. So let me bring out the pieces and parts here, and I'll show you what I mean. I've already done some of the work ahead of time. We're going to spend a lot of time, though, working on the envelope, because the envelope is just as an important part as the actual gift card holder. It's the first thing that people see. And the one I'm going to be making today, the reason it's near and dear to my heart is it's child-oriented. I got a very special gift from my youngest granddaughter, Claire, when I think she had just turned 2. And I was over there. Her parents were out one evening, and she wanted me to get down on the floor and play with her. I did. Well, what she wanted to do was walk me all around the living room and show me things. Silly things like the doorknob or what was underneath the coffee table, things that you and I would never in a million years think would be interesting if we're sitting above it all. But let me tell you, being on the floor with her for about an hour and just letting her show me things really opened up my eyes as to what the world looks like from a child's point of view. And that's kind of the theme I'm going with for this gift card holder. It's oriented more towards children. Here is our Whisper White note card. I've already folded it in half and burnished it. I'm going to decorate it with the green star pattern DSP that is pardon me, in the All is Bright set of DSP. Hi, Darylyn. Thank you for joining. So we'll use that for the outside because with children, it's all about color. Color is very, very attractive to them. So we're going to cover up the front with that. Here's that Merry Merlot glimmer paper. We're going to use it as a thin mat for our Santa that I already stamped. And remember, that Santa is from the Signs of Santa. And it's big enough to where it takes up a good portion of the front. And it's also easy for a child to immediately recognize what it is. Santa holding the list. And it has do not open till Christmas, obviously. That's going to be the front of our card. I also tied a double color ribbon using some of our real red 1/8 inch ribbon and some of the shaded spruce metallic ribbon. So let's get that put together first, and then we'll move to the inside and I'll show you the actual mechanics of what makes it a gift card holder. I'm just going to bring out my trusty liquid glue if I can find an open one here. And since children have small fingers, we want to make sure we get a good seal on this so they don't accidentally end up tearing it off. All right, just like that. I stamped the Santa in Smoky Slate because I wanted to kind of preserve the grayness, the light color of the beard and the fur on the hat. And then I went in with some blends to color. And I used the, believe it or not, Dark Poppy Parade for Santa's suit and hat. I didn't do any coloring of the white parts. Instead, I brought in my Smoky Slate Light and just put in the shadows, which made it look even whiter. And then for the face, I went ahead and used the Ivory Blends. Because I had stamped it in Smoky Slate to darken up the boots and the belt, I just brought in my Stampin' Right Basic Black Marker. So let me just glue this down. And we know Glimmer paper can sometimes be tricky to get things to stick to, but with your liquid glue, that tends to work really well. Give that a little bit of pressure here and make sure it has good contact all the way around. Okay, now I'm going to attach this. You could prop it up on dimensionals, but because we're really going to decorate the envelope pretty heavily and you'll have a gift card inside, my recommendation would be not to use dimensionals, just to go ahead and glue this down flat. And I'm going to do it just a little bit off center so that I have plenty of room for my bow. As you can see, this is going together really easily. Now, how did I tie a multicolor bow, you ask? I just cut 2 lengths of each, or 1 length of each of the ribbons. So I ended up with 2 lengths of ribbon. And then I have a little bow maker, and let me just bring it in here. But you could do the same thing with your fingers. It's just my fingers tend to be a little fat. And all I did was line them up together, one kind of right on top of the other one. Try to keep them together. They don't have to be absolutely on top of each other. And then I just wrapped it around twice and tied my bow. And if I pull it up, you can see that's what gives me that multicolor. But you could also do it on your fingers. Just take a couple of fingers, wrap it around twice, and then bring it through there and around, and you'll end up with a multicolor bow as well. Okay, put those away. And the best thing to adhere bows to just about anything I found are glue dots. Usually only need 1. Just decide where you want it. And then you can fluff out your bow a little bit. But I always wait to trim my tails until after I get it attached. That way I don't end up cutting off too much. At least most of the time I don't. And as I mentioned, you can just pull these apart to expose the 2 different colors. That's if your fingers will work. There we go. So I thought that was really, really cute. Kind of as a finishing touch on before I glued this or had this ready to glue down, I took the little snowflake stamp from the Snow is Glistening stamp set. It looks just like this. And just stamped the corners to fill in some of that white space. Because remember, children really are interested in detail. Okay, so that looks really cute. But now let's move on to the inside. How can I take a plain surface like this and turn it into a gift card holder. And here's all you have to do. I took a piece of that same DSP that I used for the front, and this measures, let me bring out my little piece of Stampin' Up! Paper here. This measures 4.5, and then I cut it to be 1.5. And the reason I did that, it might look like it's pretty tall, but to get it to adhere to the note card, I don't want the whole thing stuck down. I only want the bottom and the two sides. If I flip it over here, what you'll see is I put some double-sided tape on there. And that's what's going to give it the little pocket that you should be able to put your gift card in. So let's just go ahead and do that. Just peel off the backing here. And then bring my card in. If I stick my tongue out just right, I'll be able to get this lined up like that. Okay, but again, I have a little pocket there, and a gift card will slide in there nicely. If you like, I went ahead and scored 1/4 inch away from both edges and from the bottom. That way, when my card pops up a little bit, it has less of a tendency to try and pull that double-sided tape off the paper, because you've got that crease there. It bends a little bit, so it's a little more forgiving. Okay, so we've got our gift card holder made, but outside is darn cute. Inside looks kind of plain. I went back to the Mary Merlot Glimmer paper, and this is about a 1 3/4 inch circle that I cut out of it. I also stamped the wishing you everything on your list, which goes so well with the stamped image on the front. So I stamped that using my Tuxedo Black, Memento Tuxedo Black, and that circle is 1.5 inches. So we've got 1.5 inches for the sentiment, and then 1 3/4 inches for the mat. And I'm just going to glue those together now. I also use that little snowflake stamp from Snow is Glistening around the sentiment. And I sponged the edges of the sentiment in, what did I use? Cherry Cobbler, I believe. We'll get this lined up here. Give it a firm press. And then what I'm going to do, slide that over a little, is position it right in the center. And I'm not going to glue, obviously, the whole thing down because that gift card's going to be behind it. I'm only going to glue down this bottom part. Before I do that, though, we've got white space up there that we can fill up. I'm going to bring in my Smoky Slate ink and my little snowflake stamp. And just here and there, put in a few snowflakes. You don't have to be perfect. You just kind of want to get a little bit of a fill for that white area. All right, I'm happy with that. You also could put some up there if you want. I think I'm fine with just leaving it like that. So the little accent stamps like that snowflake stamp really come in handy for, especially for small projects like this. All right, now I'm ready to glue this down. I'm just going to glue that bottom part. Make sure I've got a good seal on this. A lot of times if I'm gluing anything to glimmer paper, I will actually set a block on top of it, like I do here, just to make sure that it has some pressure holding it down in order to get a good seal. Okay, bottom part only. And then position it where you want it. Just making sure that the part you've glued is on that pocket. And then I am going to let that sit with a block on it for a few minutes. But let's go ahead and work on the envelope, because the envelope is going to be a lot of fun too. Let's see, where did I put my envelope? Oh, I already have it in my Stamparatus. So what I did was I took one of the elf stamps from Signs of Santa, and I'm pairing it up with the signpost. And we'll stamp in there North Pole. I have that mounted on my Stamparatus with my envelope already inside. Just check and make sure that my flap is going the right way there. And then my magnet's not going to interfere. And for this, I'm going to again bring in my, I don't want my smoky slate. I think I'll use my tuxedo black for this. These stamps really ink up nicely. This is the first time I've used either of these, but I always recommend using the Stamparatus the first time you work with photopolymer stamps. And that way, if it doesn't ink up perfectly, there's no problem with re-inking and not getting a double image.